Hello everyone, I am Ashwini Saurabh Mithras from Department of Statistics, RBNB College. Today we will learn the next which is kurtosis. So previously we have learned the measure of dispersions and symmetry of distribution. We have also studied about the skewness of the distribution. So these measures are used to find the nature of distribution. So in some cases it happened that the average, also the skewness and measure of dispersion, these are equal. So in that case we cannot say anything about the frequency distribution. So the next aspect, which is the kurtosis, and it measures the height of the frequency distribution, or we measure the peak of that distribution. And this concept is given by scientist Schek. So if the peak of the distribution is like this, so we compare it with the standard normal distribution. If the peak is equals to standard normal distribution, then we categorize it as a mesokurtic distribution. So here we can observe that the most of the frequency is concentrated around the mode. Also, if the frequency distribution is spread like this, so the more number of observations are concentrated around the mode, so this peak is greater than the peak of standard normal distribution. So we call it as a leptokurtic distribution. Here for a standard normal curve, I write as a mesokurtic frequency distribution. So in case of leptokurtic distribution or leptokurtic curve, we can observe that more number of observations are around the mode of that distribution, and its height is greater than the height of normal distribution. So now the third type, which is if the spread of the distribution of the the frequency distribution is like this. So this peak is less than the peak of normal distribution. If we compare this, then this peak is less than the standard normal distribution peak. We call it as a platykurtic distribution. So in this way, the kurtosis can be observed by observing the peak of the distribution. Here we can observe that the less number of observations are around the mode of that distribution. So this is the concept of kurtosis. Let us see the measures of kurtosis now. So the scientist Pearsonians has suggested the measure of kurtosis, which are beta 2 and gamma 2. Further, this beta 2 is given by mu 4 upon mu 2 square. So here we are using the central moments mu 4 and mu 2. Mu 2 is the variance of that distribution. So we can see that this is the formula to calculate beta 2, and gamma 2 can be calculated by beta 2 minus 3. So by using these two, we can say about the kurtosis of that distribution, means whether it is leptokurtic, mesokurtic or platykurtic distribution. And the mu 4 and mu 2 can be calculated. So we know the formula for calculating mu 4, which is 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket raised to 4, and mu 2 is 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar bracket square. So here we can see that variance is in the inverse proportion of beta 2, and if this gamma 2 is less than 0 or beta 2, if this beta 2 is greater than 3, is less than 3, so in this case we say that the distribution is plateautic, or we can say that frequency distribution is plateautic. Further, if gamma 2 is greater than 0 or this beta 2 is greater than 3, so this will be positive, then we say that frequency distribution is leptocutic. And further, if this gamma 2 is equal to 0 or beta 2 equal to 3, then we say that the frequency distribution is mesocutic. So in this way we can measure the kurtosis of the distribution. Here we can see that if the variation is more, that is variance is more, then the distribution is plateautic. If there is a less variance of the data, then we say that variation is less, so the distribution is leptocutic. So in this way we can also say about the kurtosis. One more result is there for this beta 2. So measure of kurtosis beta 2 is always greater than or equal to 1. So this is the statement of the result. Now we will see its proof. Beta 2, this is the result. Now we are learning its proof. So beta 2 is given by mu4 upon mu2 square. Further, mu4 is the fourth central moment and mu2 is second central moment. Now let us suppose that this yi equals to xi minus x bar bracket square, and we know that variance of the variable is always positive, so we can write variance of yi greater than or equal to 0. So by definition of variance we can write 1 upon n summation of yi square minus y bar square is positive. Let us substitute the value of yi and y bar here. So we have 1 upon n into summation of xi minus x bar bracket raised to 4 and minus, this will be 1 upon n into summation of xi minus x bar bracket square and its square. So now by definition or by observing this mu4 and mu2, we have this is mu4 minus, so it is greater than 0, we should write here. Mu4 minus mu2 square is greater than or equal to 0. This implies that mu4 is greater than or equal to mu2 square, that is mu4 divided by mu2 square is always greater than or equal to 1. This implies that beta 2 is greater than or equal to 1. So measure of kurtosis beta 2, which is given by Pearsonians, it is always greater than or equal to 1. This result can also be proved by using the alternative method, which is Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. So we can use summation of ai bi bracket square is less or equal to summation ai square into summation bi square. So this is Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. By substituting ai as a xi minus x bar bracket square and bi as a 1 upon n, we can prove this result, that is beta 2 is greater than or equal to 1. So both way we can prove this result. So now we have studied about the kurtosis and measure of kurtosis. Now we will start the next topic, which is attributes. So sometimes it becomes very essential to study about the qualitative characteristic, like the result of an examination or a grade of a student, or about gender or blood group. So all these are qualitative characteristic. And we know the definition of attribute, which is a qualitative characteristic is known as attribute. So while learning the qualitative characteristic or attribute, we need to study the theory of attributes, which will be included here. Now, based on these classes or based on this qualitative characteristic, we may define the number of classes. For example, the characteristic grade of a student can be defined, or we can make the classes as a pass or fail, or we can give the grade as A or A plus, B, B plus. So in this way we can make the classes of that qualitative characteristic, and further we can study it. If the frequency distribution is divided into only two classes, then it is called as dichotomy. So the next definition is dichotomy. So if frequency distribution is divided into two classes, then it is known as dichotomous. Or we can call this as dichotomous frequency distribution. For example, the attribute or a qualitative characteristic gender, which can be divided into two, the frequency distribution is divided in only two groups, so male and female. So this is called the dichotomous population or dichotomous distribution. Further, if the frequency distribution is divided into more than two classes, then it is called manifold or polychotomous classes. If frequency distribution is divided into more than two. Suppose there are more than two groups, then it is called manifold or polychotomous frequency distribution. For example, if the level of education can be manifold or polychotomous type population, or we can write the grade of a student in more than two groups such as A, B, C. So these are the polychotomous groups. The next point is Likhart's scale of measurement. So this scale of measurement is introduced by the scientist Likhart's who was a psychologist, and this was introduced in 1932. So this scale is useful if there is a polychotomous frequency distribution, and this scale of measurement is used when the responses are more than two. means there is a 3 response scale also 5 response scale. Generally the number of responses are in odd order. So odd number, so means 3, 5 or 7. So depending on that, the Likert scale of measurement is given. For example, let us see some examples. So first is, so how was the program? And responses to this question may be good, and there may be no opinion, and it will be not good. So these are the 3 responses given by a person. So this measure of this scale of measurement is called 3-point scale. Also we can write down the 5-point scale or 7-point scale depending on the question. So if the question is like this, so teamwork of an institute is excellent. Do you agree? So if this is a question like agreement, so do you agree? And the responses may be like this: agree, no opinion, or he may be a neutral, so agree, no opinion, and disagree. So this is on 3-point scale. This also can be written on 5-point scale also, like this. So he may give a response like a strongly agree, then just agree, neutral, then disagree, and strongly disagree. So these are the 5-point scale of measurement, or we call it as a 5-point scale. Similarly, we see some examples like how was the taste of ice cream. So the next example is taste of ice cream. This may be question mark, and a person can reply by using these responses. So worst, poor, then below average, it was fair, then above average, or good, and excellent. So there may be the 7-point scale. So depending on that, so there are 7 type of responses are there, and this measurement can be in ordering. So we can see that there is a certain order while writing these responses. So now I have written the 7-point scale also. So in general, the responses are in the odd number of order. Now we will see some notations. So while learning the theory of attributes, we need to study these notations. Suppose there is a dichotomous population, means there are only 2 groups. Then the attribute is suppose denoted by A, means A denotes suppose male. Then alpha will be female. So this is a attribute A which is male, and the another group in the population will be surely female, and it is denoted by Greek letter alpha. So this is for the dichotomous population, means if there are only two groups. If there are more than two groups, then we can define two attributes. Suppose this attribute B denotes urban, then corresponding to it we take a letter beta which will denote rural. So here AB will denote urban male, means the number of person who are urban and male, so that will be classified into group AB. So according to that there will be four groups for two attributes like this: A beta, alpha B and alpha beta. So there will be now four groups of that frequency distribution, like urban male, then it will be rural male, then urban female and rural female. So the person can be classified accordingly into these four groups if there are two attributes. Similarly, we can define more number of attributes, then there will be more number of groups. So let us see some definitions. The first is class. So the symbols A, B, alpha, beta or AB, or like this A, B, C. So these symbols are the classes in which the observation is grouped. Then the next is class frequency. So this is the frequency of a particular class. And this A denotes the class frequency of class A. Similarly, this B denotes the class frequency of class B. Similarly, we can write the class frequencies in this round bracket. So this is the notation for that. And alpha B will denote the class frequency of the class alpha B. Now the next definition is positive class. So the class which is denoted by capital letter is called positive class. For example, we can write A, B or C. So these are the positive classes also. If there is a combination of capital letters like this AB or BC, these are also positive classes. Next definition is negative class. So if the class is denoted by Greek letter, then it is called negative class. For example, alpha, beta, gamma, or the combination of these Greek letters like alpha beta or beta gamma or alpha gamma or alpha beta gamma. So there may be more number of negative classes. So negative classes are denoted by the Greek letters. Similarly, we can write the definition of positive attribute and negative attribute also. So positive attribute is the attribute which are denoted by capital letters like A, B, C. So they are positive attribute. If the attribute is denoted by Greek letter like alpha, beta or combination of that Greek letter alpha, beta, alpha, gamma like this, so they are negative attribute. So next is the order of class. So if there is only one attribute A, then there are surely two groups, means alpha and A. So here the order of class is 1. If there are two attributes A and B, then there will be A, B. So these are, or alpha, beta. So these are of order 1, and AB, alpha B, alpha beta, and A beta. So these are of order 2. So in this way we can measure the order of a class. This is for if there is only one attribute, then A and alpha only are there. So the order of class is 1. And for two attributes, the order of class can be written like this. If there are more than two attributes, then corresponding to that we can write the order of that class. Now the next definition is ultimate class frequencies. So this is the frequency of the class of highest order is called ultimate class frequency. So frequency of class of highest order is called ultimate class frequency. So let us see, for one attribute, means if there is only one attribute, means there are two groups. This is positive attribute, this is negative attribute. So there are only two groups. Then here is the ultimate class frequency. So ultimate class frequencies are these two itself, so A and alpha. Similarly, if there are two attributes A and B, then ultimate class frequencies means the frequency of highest order, means in this case it will be alpha AB, alpha B, or A beta, alpha beta. So these are the ultimate class frequencies in case of two attributes. So here we can observe that for only one attribute there are two number of ultimate class frequencies. If there are two attributes, then there are four number of ultimate class frequencies. Similarly, if there will be three attributes like A, B and C, then ultimate class frequencies will be the combination of the positive and negative class attributes like this. So A, B, C, then A, B, gamma, A, beta, C, then A, beta, C, so A, beta, gamma. So in this way, these are the four. Also we can write alpha B C, alpha B gamma, then alpha beta C and alpha beta gamma. So there are 8 number of ultimate class frequencies if there are three attributes. We can see the relation between them. So if there are n number of attributes, then there will be 2 raised to n number of ultimate class frequencies. So in this way we can calculate the ultimate class frequencies for n number of attributes. Now let us see one table for it. Here we can write order, then class frequency, and here we can write total classes. So for only one attribute is there, so write down order 1. So order 0 is n and total classes are 1. And for 1, A and alpha are there, so total classes are 2. So here are the 3 classes for only one attribute. If there are 2 attributes A and B, then the order 0, there will be class frequency n, total is 1. Then for order 1, A alpha also B beta will be there in case of 2 attributes. So total classes are here 4. So we should write this in the bracket because we are writing the class frequencies. Of order 2 we can write AB, alpha B, then A beta and alpha beta. So here are 4. So total number is 9. Similar table we can make for the 3 attributes. So in that case it will be expanded and there will be one number of order 0, so total number of classes, then 6 number are for order 1, there will be 12 number for order 2 and there will be 8 ultimate class frequencies. So there will be total number of classes, so they are 27. So in this way we can write the tables for total number of classes. So today we have learned the concept kurtosis, its measure of kurtosis. Then we have started the new topic which is attributes, and we have seen some definitions and some notation. In next lecture we will study the relation among these classes or these attributes. So thanks for watching me.